Day 31, channeling from Source. So our third integration class. So yesterday, a lot of you were questioning what was explained in terms of how humans are cracked open by something challenging and how that really helps them to grow. And of course, they don't always learn through the negative. Growth is experienced through the positive when they fall in love, when they have children, when they listen to a piece of music that resonates within them, when they see a piece of art which really speaks to them. All the creations, the colors, the textures, the flavors, the perfumes, everything related to the incredible, immense variety of all that they create can bring them into a state of high emotions, alignment, being fine-tuned and expanded. But we do notice that for quite a lot of them, when there's a pattern, a belief, a trauma, a limitation, a block which comes from a long time ago, their childhood, their ancestral lineage, the collective unconscious, and is highly unconscious in them, meaning that they are led by that aspect and they don't understand why. Often then, a situation which really takes them into a much more challenging place, which they would call as a crisis, can be a healing crisis as it cracks them open. And when they're in the depth of the healing crisis, suddenly they have the choice to open to another perception. It is like the walls have been opened and they are so in such a state of what they might call despair or pain, physical, emotional, that they're ready to consider new options. And this indeed is quite a painful growth. But a lot of them experience that. Now, we said we were going to unfold and unpack the revealing aspect. For indeed, most of them feeling so disconnected from Source, they are caught up in a system which requires them to, as an adult, to work and have very limited time for the rest of their lives. So they are busy, they are rushing, they don't have much time for fun. And some of them don't have the money for fun. Some of them don't have the connection for fun. They feel alone. They feel limited in their wealth. They feel like a failure because they're not succeeding according to the definition of success from their society. Or they have so many responsibilities with the job, with the children, with their parents, with the business, with the house, with all of it, that again, they're always rushing. And that obviously comes from the ignorance that if they were to switch to the world of energy, that which they are, they would realize that they are creators. They can create their realities. Most of them do that in a very unconscious way. Even the people who are aware of this still, in many ways, fall into the trap of the unconscious creations, and they will feel that life is against them. They will feel that it's hard, that you have to suffer to get anywhere. And I experienced that in my lives in many ways. It took me many lifetimes, and quite a few of these challenges. I experienced disease. I experienced losing a loved one. That grief was intense. But my wife, in my last life, suffered from my closed heart. And when she passed away, she asked me to promise her that I would keep my heart open, that I would start loving life and living more fully. And I loved her so much that I kept my promise, and I started experiencing life very differently. I stopped and listened to the birds, to the wind in the leaves, to the sensation of the sun on my skin, to the colors in nature, to the beauty of the trees. I went places which are an incredible creation of beauty, beautiful places, paradise on earth. Met some incredibly generous people. There, I had changed my paradigm. I went from a broken and closed heart to opening my heart after the grief. And I realized that the grief I was experiencing was coming from love too. And that love, I kept it alive in me. I chose that path, the path of the heart. And that led me to meet people on that path too. And it opened doors that I didn't even know existed. One of their authors called that the hero's journey, when you actually find a door which you had no idea was there before, and maybe it wasn't there before, and suddenly life took a different perspective. I experienced life from a different filter, a much higher filter. Yet, in my daily life, nothing much had changed. It was just me. It was just me coming from a different place. I'd managed to drop into my heart, and because I'd made that promise to my wife, I really had to keep it for utter, sheer respect and deep, deep love for her. So on this planet, you never know how your lessons are going to come. But if you want to grow, you can. And it will come in so many ways. You can have a very quiet life as well, in which case you just enjoy. But as the energy is rising, and there are more and more people who actually want to experience a higher level of being, it is having an effect on the whole planet. The planet itself is evolving. To conclude this integration class, I would say that you have to open up to the whole spectrum, the whole gamut of existence there on the planet Earth, and some will take your breath away by the beauty and the depth, and others will take your breath away by the hardship and the pain, but there is nothing like it. And when you reconnect through your body, to Source, when you get to that place of realigning and realizing that everything you've been looking for outside in that world, because you were told that everything was coming from the outside, and you were told that it's only when you would have this or that, only when you would be this or that then you could feel the emotions that you were after: love, joy, fulfillment, compassion. And you realize that you've achieved them in the world and you still feel empty within. Then your quest really starts. And sooner or later, you open to that truth that it is already within, and that nothing from the outside will ever equate the sublime and exquisite connection to the divine within. That's when you start to live life as heaven on earth. That's when you open the doors to magic. That's when nothing has to change outside of yourself, and you still feel that connection within, and you shine your light. You radiate that joy, that bliss. You let go of all these programs, these systems of values which were a construct of the mind and the cultural identity and the collective unconscious. You drop them all. You free yourself. And whether you have millions or not, doesn't matter. Whether you are fit or not, whether you are young or old, whatever gender, whatever color, whatever level of experience and qualification, doesn't matter. They are just labels, because you know that within yourself you are complete. You cannot be given anything to make you better, or nothing needs to be taken away from you to make you better. You have dropped the desire to fix, change anything. And because you can apply that to yourself, then you see the world through this filter, these eyes, and you can see through acts of violence, through acts of war, through judgment, through inequality, and you can still see that it is all source, and that some people have chosen, consciously or unconsciously, to experience a path disconnected, where free will is leading them. And sooner or later, they will come to that same realization, because you know that within them, however bad they are, or however serious the condition is, the issue is, light source is within, waiting to be revealed. The ultimate awakening, the ultimate act of love, the ultimate birthing to a new you, a new human, a new version of yourself, which in the language of the humans would be better and higher, but in reality, without using judgment, it's just a new version, maybe more advanced, a little bit further on the path, beyond the polarities, and you look back with gratitude because you know that as challenging, as hard, as brutal as it might have been sometime, you wouldn't be where you are without these experiences. They shaped you. They made you. They allowed you to maybe cry and scream and judge and condemn and hate sometimes and blame. They allowed you to reconnect, to love, to go deeper, to emerge a new you, to birth new connections. They allowed you to be where you're at now. And after all, they were just experiences. And now that you have the understanding that you can detach yourself from the emotions, you have trained yourself to master your emotions because you're coming from a much more expanded awareness where you can allow the aspects of these contractions into shame and blame and fear and anger, can allow them to be, as you are so vast, so spacious that you can contain them. And that is what the humans will learn. That is the vastness of Source. That is the formless that we are, enveloping them. Each and every one of them is enveloped, just like each and every one of their cells and their quantum particle is bathing in energy. And they can't see that, but that's who they are. When they merge with that sense of the benevolent, spacious, loving, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, love, energy that Source is, they know that they are that I am. I am that I am. They can then create universes from their love. They have shifted into the understanding that they are all that they have been looking for, and that they can now rest and sit on a park bench and allow life to be, observe it, experience it, and love it as a master creates. They can create their opus magnum, greatest achievement, knowing that they are their opus magnum when it comes from the wisdom of being the Source and living and experiencing life from that level where there is nothing to prove, nothing to do but just be the words of Source and allow the magic of creation to unfold in this world. My dear beloveds, I didn't achieve that yet in my lifetimes on earth, but I'm going back, starting from the level of love I left, and I intend to be there until I reach that level. Thank you for your presence as the present from Source. I will keep you posted from time to time from my adventure on planet Earth. In the meantime, prepare well, my dear beloveds, and I'll see you there on the blue planet, and together we will make the world a better place. I love you beyond words, beyond worlds. Namaste.